Welcome back, everyone, to my channel Musical Moments with Marta. This is part of the series called Musical Solutions, and we are today talking about Bruch's Violin Concerto in G minor. This is the 5th video. I'll put the other videos throughout this video. You will be able to find them up above and also at the end of this video. Plus, you can go to my playlists, and then you can go to Musical Moments with Marta channel, and then Musical Solutions is the playlist that this will be on. So this is in the development section. We are now in measure 90. So we have gone through all these interesting chords and scales and lyrical sections. So please check out those other videos before this one. This particular section, measure 90, is marked stringendo poco a poco, which means speeding up gradually. And we're dealing here with, excuse me, with the chromatic scale, which is kind of a new thing in this concerto, new element. So I finger it, I think it's a standard fingering when you go open, 1, 2, half steps, then shift, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and then you have an open string. So open, 1, 2, then shift to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is not lining up with the beats necessarily, but it helps keep the hand together and very accurate and crisp. Now there are other ways to play chromatic scale, which is of course 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And that can happen from time to time, but when you have an extensive long scale that's chromatic, I would recommend using those other fingerings. So open, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Open, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Open, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And here we have a change in measure 91. I think I said this was the first movement of the Bruch. So just make sure that you know it's the first movement. And you can find the score below this video. So measure 91. Depending on what edition you have, I have the International from 1962, edited by Tino Francescatti. But we always change things, and having gone through different teachers and having also come up with my own solutions and my own cognitions, you come up with your own ways as well. But if you're a student beginning and you want just to have different insights from different teachers, what I do is in measure 90 I play those 3 beats on one bow, then I change in 91. Sorry, I was just about to talk about the fingerings here. In measure 91, we're not gonna use the 4th finger anymore, because now we're going up into higher positions. So measure 91 will be like this, starting on a D, on A string, D, E flat, then open, E, then we have F, F sharp, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Instead of 4, there's no 4, so 1, 2, 3. At least what I do, that's what I do. I think the printed fingerings here are even different. They go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But I figured 1, 2, 3 is better for me and sounds smoother. 1, 2, 3. So starting on a G, it's 1, 2, 3. Then we have a B flat, 1, 2, 3. And then we shift again to C sharp. So then we actually end up with the same fingering that Francescatti wrote on the 2nd finger on the D, so 5th position at the end of 91. 92, just a nice simple scale there. B natural. Okay, so excuse me. So we have a B natural on the 3rd beat, a little bit of an accent. So this whole thing flows very quickly. So it's important to have good fingerings, very smooth bow, so your bow is not jerking every time you change the left hand. So easier fingering is better. Keep the left hand light. I shift down, and that's what's printed actually. Just be gentle on that shift from B natural to A flat. That's in 92. And now we're getting into something called stretto. Stretto is when you have a longer phrase, and then that phrase gets kind of chopped up into smaller, and almost sounds like the whole thing is getting faster because the fragments are smaller. So it's stretto comes I think from the fugue when the theme gets chopped up into smaller segments. So then we have accents every beat in measure 93. And again, I'm doing different bowings than I printed here. I'm just doing 4 notes per bow. Okay, so there's a little bit of a stretch here on the F. So what scale are we here using? C minor for a moment, like C. Yeah, because the A flat takes us to a harmonic minor. So A flat, B natural, C, the last 3 notes of the scale. Another B natural, A flat. And then it goes to an E natural, which is a kind of a surprise. Okay, measure 94 then. Let me know if you need any suggestions how to practice this, but using rhythms, using different bowings, not just slurred the way you want to, ultimately. So doing rhythms, you know. Then you can go. Then you can go. Then reverse. And there's many, many more rhythms you can come up with, even yourself. You can change articulation, you can even skip notes, like you could play, just play the first note of each group, but play fingers with the rest. Then, what that does is actually causes you to listen to the outline. So like if this was in measure 93, if we have G on the first beat, then D, then B natural. That's kind of interesting. Looks like a G major chord. But behind that, we have that A flat. But it's kind of fun to kind of discover these plans behind almost the music, right? Like these tricks or hidden treasures of harmony. All right, measure 94. Actually, let me stop here, and you can now find another video up above if you'd like to check it out. The first video, I'm going to put the first video from these lessons, from the Bruch, and then you will find the other videos along the side with this video as well as below. I'm going to try to put it below the video, and you can go to the Musical Solutions playlist as well, and you can find it there. Okay, so let's proceed to measure 94. So now we have an E natural. So that brings us to another chromatic scale. So in measure 90, he had a chromatic scale starting on an open D, and then, or D, whatever, and then 94 we have one starting on E. And so the progression is getting more dramatic, right? There's more accelerando, there's crescendo, so you have to get really good at these scales so you can add the drama and the musicality of it as well. So but I'm just going through the technical aspects of it right now. It takes a long time to even talk through that. So measure 94, we have E natural. So here I'm gonna go do it two twice, F to F sharp. But then I'm going to proceed with those previous fingerings. So we're going to be open A, then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And here in the next measure, 95, I'm going to go to a 1 on an F sharp, and then I'm going to go in a pattern from 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to finish the last beat, the F sharp, I'm going to use second finger. Because that's a little bit too crowded for me. I think if you have a hand like mine, or maybe even larger, mine is not that large, but I have kind of long fingers. I wouldn't want to be doing first finger on that F sharp like Francescatti wrote. Maybe for him it was comfortable. That's really crowded. So I'm doing 2 on F sharp. That is the end of measure 95. That's the last beat. Okay, so measure 95 one more time is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Okay, and all of that is on one bow. In measure 94, I'm going, I've actually slurred the previous beat of 93 on an up bow, so, and then I start my harmonic, chromatic scale on a down bow. And then I continue on an up bow in measure 95. And then we have arrived on that last F sharp. Finally, he does it 3 times, right? And finally, he said, okay, I'm going to stop now and I'm going to go on. Okay, so this is probably one of the hardest parts here to play in tune, because so if F sharp, G, B flat, G, but now we have to go down to a D sharp. So these are all appoggiaturas, lower appoggiaturas or suspensions, whichever term you want to use, is when it's the note that is not part of the chord is being emphasized. So instead of, this would be the notes without the first note of each beat. So if I add the first note, okay, so this is like a, again, like I showed you earlier, how you could practice just playing the first notes of each beat. This is a really good one because you have to shift your first finger. I think that's what most people do is with the fingerings, is shift your first finger down a minor third. So it's gonna go, this is a second finger on the top, the first group, but then it's D sharp is first finger, then B sharp, and listen for that first note. So this is measure now 97, F sharp, D sharp, and then B flat. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. We are playing just the first note of each beat in measure 96. And it's similar to measure 93. It's a little bit of a different pattern, but the idea is similar, right? That you're going down. So here we're going down with the first finger, and then we have other notes to play in that position. But the first finger is the one we need to practice sliding down. So the shifting, so try not to play all of it all at once. I'll practice just that first note. Try to find those, B sharp, A, S sharp, D sharp, B sharp. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. And I'm actually here using the bowings that are printed. So it's kind of satisfying to have that accent in the middle of that bow. And then we separate these two notes in 97, and the last 4 I slur. So that's a diminished chord there. B flat, G, E, C sharp. I play fourth finger on the C sharp because it's closer, yeah? Okay, and then we go to D. Nice D major arrival, okay? The next section, okay, so let me stop here for a moment, and I'm going to put another video up above, the second video. There are 4 videos that were made before this one with the Bruch. So this is the second video now you can check out, and that means it's going to be most likely that first page, second half of the first page. I can't remember, but that's what I recorded probably there, was that that main body of the movement was like measure 20 something. Okay, but you can check out that second video up above, and I hope you will like, share, and subscribe, and check out the rest of my channel, and let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Measure 98. Now we're going into arpeggios. Those are fun, but they're not so easy because you have to kind of jump around, yeah? So you have to find that F sharp in 5th position. Oh boy. Okay, so I personally rely on the ear a lot. So if you don't know what that F sharp sounds like, it's going to be so much harder for you to find it. So obviously you are playing that F sharp right at the beginning of that bar, 98. It's right there, right? So now you have to copy it on the A string. The reason it's on the A string is because then we have more arpeggios to come, yeah? If you want, you could get there sooner, but I don't know, that's kind of risky. You could try playing that F sharp in 3rd position on the first beat, and then you're pretty close. I've never tried it, but it's harder to be in tune. But it may be easier to find that second F sharp. So I'm just so used to it. You just hit your instrument, right? Pretty hard, like right there, a little bit above, not like low, but kind of turned your hand. That's where the 5th position is most likely. So you just keep working on it. You can also practice sliding it from 1st position, but you know, so you know how far you're going. Because you're going from 1st position, so you could play a B, let's say, on the A string, and then find that F sharp. That's really what you should do if you're not familiar with 5th position. So, okay, so assuming you found that F sharp, let's go on. So now we have a little bit of a melody between these arpeggiated chords, but it is a harmonic section. So very important intonation. You're gonna have some squeezing, shifting things around. So I would suggest listening to the recording, making sure that you know what these chords sound like, playing it on the piano, just listening, playing along with the orchestra on the recording, but finding it on the piano and trying to play them all together. Then you have there's a lot of difficult chords, but the main thing is to figure out which notes are staying the same and which notes are changing. Just like right here, it's only the E flat that's changing, right? Then you go to C, that stays, the E flat stays. The bottom note is added on the D string now. Instead of an open D, now we have a C. And this is measure 98, by the way. So at the end of measure 98, so I would practice maybe one double stop at a time. So find the F sharp, play them together, then find the C, then find the B and the A. Then the next measure, then you have B flat. and just a little bit at a time, little bit at a time. Most of it is up there in that fourth, fifth position, right? Once you figure out the bottom notes, try to play the top two notes by holding the bottom as well. So you can do just double stop, then C, and I would always repeat the notes at least twice, maybe 4 times. Then you go to measure 99, you have a B, A, B, and we could go through all these chords. Of course, it's important to know what these chords are as well. A lot of them are suspended chords, so they're not, they have to resolve. So like for example in measure 99, the B and the A, it's really a kind of a 7th chord, B, D. We don't really know what he meant there unless we look at the score. So I don't have the score in front of me, but it's a minor 7th in any case. You could play it also in first position. That's another way to practice these, is to find them in first position. The previous one would be C and F sharp, then A and B and A, then B flat. Okay, so middle of 99, we have a resolution. We go to a G minor chord, if you can see that. So we went from B, A, which is definitely a some kind of 7th suspended chord, right? Like a dissonant chord. Then we go down to B flat. See, that one is a resolution. Nice G minor, which is hard to play in tune together. Maybe my strings are out of tune, but anyway, try playing that 5th in tune. And then measure 100, we go down again to A. I use first finger, another 5th. So practice that by itself, then go to the next double stop with the F sharp. Then the next measure would be G and D. Play them separate, then play them together. So that first finger is getting a workout, all right? So little by little, you could also play just the first finger throughout that section, like from 98, just play the first finger. It will probably get a little tired, but try to find all the notes that the first finger is playing. And sometimes maybe second finger too, because we have that second finger on a C, measure 98, but then we go to 1, another 1, another 1, another 1, same note, then 1. Okay, so this section is tricky. It has many layers of practicing. So practice separate, so you're not worried about those slurs. Practice double stops, practice individual notes, just the bottom. You can practice just the top. You can practice double stops, both lower and higher. So you have a million ways to practice this. But it's also important to play it on the piano so you can find the chords. Okay, so let's say we got to measure 102, and we're now going to go real fire fast so that we can get through this section. Okay, so now we have 102, we have now the duplets turn into triplets, but now we have a tie. So I kind of like this section because it becomes, once you get your left hand frame and everything, then it's fun just to kind of wobble around with these arpeggios. Okay, so the left hand is really not that hard. It's whole steps or major sixths, right? And then E and C sharp, B flat, which is kind of like C sharp, A sharp, right? So it's a major sixth. It's a stretched out diminished chord. So let's see, B flat. It's a B flat. I'm sorry, not a B natural. Did I say B natural? Anyway, so if you reverse this and put it in thirds, it's going to be a diminished chord. So it's B, C sharp, E, right? If you go backwards and you put them in a row. Then the next one, in measure 103, we have C sharp. Again, I'm reversing it and putting it into a little triad. C sharp, E, G. See, it's diminished again. Then the next one, again, reverse. Measure 103, second half of the bar. E, G, B flat. Then the next bar, go from the top note, G, B flat, C sharp. Do you see what I'm saying, what I'm doing? I'm reversing the chord. Instead of stretched out like it looks, I'm going backwards and putting them all in one area, three notes apart from each other. So measure 102, if you go backwards, instead of going E, C sharp, B flat, it's B flat, C sharp, E, but it's going the next direction, the other direction. So it's going like B flat is the bottom, right? So B flat, if you look on the keyboard, B flat, C sharp, and E. Those are minor thirds. So this is actually the first time I looked at it that way. I knew it was a diminished chord, but, and I don't know if it's helpful to you. I hope it is. But the fact is that these are the same intervals, the same notes, and they're just progressing up and up and up. So that's why the fingerings and the intervals are exactly the same for this whole section. How many measures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 measures. 5 measures, and well, the last measure is a little different. So we shift up to G in measure 103. Then shift up a little bit sooner. But keep that frame. Keep the 2 major steps, 2 major sixths. 1, 2, 3, the same interval. As you go up, it's going to get slightly narrower, but it's still the same hand frame. So don't try to like redo it or anything. Just stay there. And focus on the bottom note. Make sure the bottom note know where it's going. So E, G, B flat, C sharp. And then, okay, that one is also changing into something else. So we actually have 3 measures of the same pattern, right? Through measure 104. And then measure 105, we're changing the chord, but we're still on that C sharp, the bottom C sharp. So 104 was this chord, C sharp, B flat, G. And now we're gonna go to C sharp, A, G. So the middle note changes. So instead of, it's just a half step lower. But it changes whole chemistry, right, of the fingers, because now the top note is gonna be 4th finger instead of 3rd. Okay, so if you analyze this chord, look, I'm just looking at my time here. Analyze this chord in measure 105, C sharp, A, G. Do you hear it's a different chord? If you look on the piano and you play, I'm going to tell you what to do. Play A, then play C sharp, and then skip a few notes and go to a G. So that's the chord. A, C sharp. To fill the chord, we're going to need an E. So A, C sharp, E, G natural. If any of you know what that chord is, let me know. But I'll tell you the secret. It's a A7. So A dominant 7, and then we're going to D major. Okay, so we must be going to D major, which is dominant of G minor, which is our key of the piece. So, okay, so you gotta hold on to that tight and nice. You can vibrate a little bit if you can with the arm. But we have C sharp, A, and then A and G. Sorry. So if you go, my fingers got a little bit tight there. And then we're resolving to a D. So it takes a lot of strength. If you're not used to that, just go slow. So C sharp A now turns into D, A. So you're gonna have to shift up to have that 5th. So it's not an easy section. You have to have some experience with this. And then the G becomes now 3rd finger. So we have the same G from measure 104, 5, and 6 is the same top G, okay? But in the first, in measure 104, it's the third finger. In 105 is the fourth finger because we have a bigger stretch there. And then measure 106 is back to third finger. But all of that is led from the bottom with that first finger. So starting from measure 104, let me play slowly. Sorry, is that right? B flat, sorry. Now we change. Now we change again, we shift up to 1. And then same on that last measure, F sharp. And on the G. Wow, that took some work, huh? So I hope this was helpful for those of you who are learning this piece. Again, more videos at the end here you're gonna see. And please go to my channel. You are on my channel, but please go to Musical Solutions playlist if you want to continue looking for more videos with master classes on different concerti. So I have Bruch, Tchaikovsky. It's always just first movement for now because it takes a long time for me to walk through it. So please let me know if you have any questions, requests. I always put them on my list, and it takes a while to get to everything, but hopefully with time I'll be able to show you all these classes. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Do share these videos so people who are interested in lessons. It's not very often that you get a free lesson like this through a movement. So I hope you appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.